Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share my February 2019 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit, Out with the Old and Layout Share. Now the inspiration kit for this month was the Kaisercraft Anthology collection, and I believe it was a retro feeling collection, a distress collection, a heritage type collection, but I don't really remember because I haven't gone back to look at it since then, since I put this kit together. So what I have done is I started with a paper collection from my stash, and I started with this crepe paper collection, the portrait collection, and this is from 2010, and you can see it's got 16 double-sided papers that I started with and a couple of sticker sheets that came with it. The sticker sheets that came with this were well, there's one die cut sheet and one sticker sheet. The sticker sheet that came with this was okay. It was, the adhesive was still good on the back of it, but the other, or no, I take that back. The sticker sheet that came with this one was not good, and all of the adhesive had dried up. So, but that was okay. I made it work for me. So this is what I have left of my pattern paper. You can see not a whole lot. These were pieces of border strip. Now I had an additional just border strip that came along that I bought separately that just had these border strips here. So you can tell from that one, this one still has the adhesive on the back of it, and this one the adhesive has dried up and peeled off. So there's those, and I'm just going to include them in here. The other border strips that came along with the good sheet are right here, and these have the adhesive on them, and then this one has the dried adhesive that peeled off. And then I had one additional border strip that I had added in. Now along with the paper pack, I had a couple of 6x6 paper pads. I have this one from KI from Hampton Art called Autumn Flowers, and this one from Authentique called Blissful. Both of these are pretty old. This is 2011, and I don't know, that one's 2012. I've had them for a long time, but I did use quite a few pieces from both of them, but I still have a ton left, and these will go back into my stash. I have no qualms about keeping these. I love this Authentique with the grays and blacks and yellows. So both of those will go back into my stash. I had added in some tissue paper in gold and what do you call that, pattern paper and black, and so those bits and pieces will go back into my stash as well, and I did use quite a few of that. Now I did pull in some alphabets because this the inspiration or the collection pack that I chose did not have an alphabet with it. So I pulled in this one to match the turquoise that was in the kit. And this is from Amy Tangerine from Memento, called Memento. And then I pulled in these two from American Crafts called Midnight. You can see that one's quite used. And I did get into that one a little bit, but yeah. So those were my two larger alphabets. And then I pulled in some smaller ones. This is a MLS, what does that stand for? My Little Shoebox. And there's two sheets in there, and I used, you know, quite a few from there. This is an old Paper Studio, and I used quite a few from there. These sticky keys from October Afternoon, I don't think I used any this go around. And then these old from the Target Dollar Spot, I used the heck out of these, and I have two sheets here, and I've gotten into both sheets. And then I did use these one time, I think mostly to add a date on. I had added in some photo corners that I had. I had added in a couple of packs of chipboard, black colored chipboard from Cosmo Cricket. This was more of a spring Easter line, and this is all florals. And I don't know, some of these may go back into my stash, some may not. These chips from Pebbles, I did not use any, I don't believe, in the layouts that I created. These are from Freckled Fawn, and they are washi strips, and I did use quite a few from there. I added my leftover bling pack in black. I just pulled it from my color bin, and there were several sheets in here that I got used up, and then of course I have these other sheets in here, and they'll go back into my stash. I have no qualms about continuing to use them. I have some doilies left over. I have some book pages left over, and then I had added in several packages of ephemera. There was a Jelly Bean Soup ephemera pack and a Maggie Holmes ephemera pack. There was also a Prima butterfly pack that I had, and all of that is in here along with the pieces from the die cut sheet from the original collection, as well as bits and pieces that came out of my stash. So all of that is still in here. It looks like there's a ton in here, and there is, but guys, I used so much out of here. And then I had added some bits and pieces from my black color bin as well. And there's some of those butterflies that are left from the Prima. And you can see bits and pieces. I used a ton of these little tiny bits and pieces. So all of that will go back into my stash. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to put it back in the packaging, but yeah, it's there if I want to. So let me move all of this. And I'm really proud of how much I actually got done with this kit. It always feels terrific to get a kit used up when you cut into every single pattern paper. For me, that's the that is what I term killing a kit, is when I have been able to cut into every bit of pattern paper. Now, the empties that I have, there's quite a few here. There's some carrier sheets from some of that bling. I had a rub-on sheet, and it was a Bohemia from My Mind's Eye from 2006, and I still have a little piece of that. That will go back into my stash because these rub-ons are terrific. And this said Bohemia, and I cut out the B-O-H, turned that H over and made it a Y to create a word, boy. So that will go in the trash. So that little set of felted flourishes, I think I have one little like partial swirl left, like one of these little pieces here. It was just a partial little bit of a swirl. It's somewhere in with all that ephemera. Then I have a couple of other empty packages. There's that package of the border strips that were not in the best shape. I used a wood shape from Freckled Fawn. I used a felt piece from Queen & Company, and I don't even know, some of those packages, I don't know what they were from, but all of this is going directly into the trash. And finally, I have these things left. I have the threads, the twines that I added in. I have that hemp thread. I don't think I'm going to use this for anything as far as scrapbooking goes. This will probably go out to the garage for my husband to use. I have these containers of sequins left, and I used quite a few of those, not quite as many of those. I had some wood veneers in here, some butterflies and flowers that I used up. I have an acrylic word left over, and then I have all this washi tape. I did use the washi tape some, but not too much. So, layout share. So, okay, now the layouts. My husband's father had passed away recently, well, within the last couple of years, and gave us tons of photos from my husband's childhood. And so that's what most of these layouts are about, are those photos. Now, they used to dress their kids up in the cutest little outfits with like little bow ties and things. This is a photo of my husband, and I think he was probably a year or less. Now, these photos I did not put adhesive on. I just used the photo corners and I popped them up like that. They still have writing on the back of them from like my husband's father. He wrote to his Granny Birdie and Papa Ode, and it was Tony, his brother, was 23 months and Gary was 9 months. That was my husband. And then this is the other photo that went along with that one, and that's Tony, his brother, his older brother. They are like 13 months apart in age, so they grew up pretty close. So you can see. And I used tons of those little embellishments that I have from those embellishment packs. I used washi tape along the back from here, those letter towels to create the names down at the bottom, and a separate letter towel here to create this name. And again, more bits and pieces along here. Is hard to see, but there is a piece of washi tape down along there. Lots of that ephemera, doilies, sequins, yeah, tons of stuff. Then several years later, their younger brother came along. So you'll see these photos are a lot the same. I have made 3 layouts that are basically the same layout or similar in feel, with the 3 boys in them. But don't you just flip and love that look? These 2 boys have their suit jackets on. They even have a little, what do you call it, handkerchief in the breast pocket. They have ties on, and then the youngest brother has a little vest on and a bow tie. They're so stinking cute. And again, these are not glued down. They are put in with the photo corners. And you can see I use lots of stickers. I used washi tape. I used lots of ephemera. Yeah, I even used a rub-on up here on this tissue paper. And then I stamped down here, family together we have it all. And I used some of those vellum phrases that I had out. I had done these layouts while I was at a retreat, and so I had other embellishments laid out on my desk that I used some of those as well. Again, these are taken during the same time frame, but I had 5 photos altogether that were from this same photo shoot. So 2 of the layouts have 2 photos, and then the one has 1. But you can see the layout is the same. You have a cluster here and a cluster here. You have a cluster here and a cluster here. So again, border stickers, pattern paper. I even actually did some spray mist along the back here. The butterflies, I used bling. I had buttons. You can see I got tons used on there. That is so I have this here, and it says brothers, and it's family always, and then their last name at the bottom. And you can see I actually used a rub-on up here on the top as well. I have all this ephemera, and then I have this piece is from an old journal spot from like Making Memories. And then on the base of each of these is a 6x6 piece of pattern paper from one of the 6x6 paper pads. This one, again, this one is a little bit different in that instead of having a big cluster here and a smaller cluster going across here, I had the larger cluster going here and then a smaller cluster here. I had some gold thread with me out for another layout, and so I used that along here. I put a rub on here, used some ephemera pieces, a wood veneer, yeah, bling, washi tape, yeah, a doily. I used tons of stuff. This is a different photo shoot, and I have 2 photos of this. So this one is from August of 1964, and again, all 3 boys. I think the youngest one in these photos is probably, I want to say maybe 2, not quite 2 years old. But again, I just called it family, used lots of ephemera bits, lots of border strips, and yeah, he's about 2. So Tony was 7 years old, Gary was 6 years old, and Stephen was 21 months. And I took that off the back of the photo. And so you can see lots of bling. I used the sequins. I have a doily here. I have 2 6x6 pieces of paper, 3 6x6 pieces of paper, 4 6x6 pieces of paper. Yeah, so I used lots of 4x6 on the, or sorry, 6x6 on this one. And I did add into the mix on this one, I did add a piece of cardstock to here. I think so far that was the only one that I've added cardstock to. Again, same photo. just a little bit different embellishment. It's got the same, I put their ages and everything there. Same design, same amount of 6x6 paper in the background, from August 1964. And again, these are not glued down. They are just used with the photo corners. And I layered up that tissue paper in the back. But wood veneer, lots of ephemera, bling, a doily, washi tape, border strips. So these are, this one is my husband's younger brother, and it's an 8x10. So I, had to be a bit more creative. And because these are old photos and they've come out of those old magnetic albums, they really want to curl up. And I don't know why. I don't know how to stop it other than to put them back in a photo sleeve, and hopefully they'll flatten back out to some degree. But I, again, put them down with the photo corners. Just put his name along the bottom. Put a wood veneer over here, and the wood veneer is not glued to the photo. You can see I didn't put any adhesive behind that. It's just over on this side. That's one of those little washi freckled fawn washi strips that I cut the word perfection out of. Added some sequins and lots of just bits and pieces of random ephemera over there, as well as over on this side. And then again, just my brother-in-law, and he was about 21 months in this one as well. Another piece of that freckled fawn washi strips that I cut the word out of. Used those felted pieces, used some wood veneer, flowers, lots of little bits. There's where I used one of the rub-ons. It says boy time here, and then down at the bottom where it says from the packaging that said Bohemia, you can see I turned that H over and made it into a Y and put boy down here. And this boy right now, this boy is my title for this. Boy time right now, this boy. So yeah. And then finally I created a layout with my mother, and it's not a retro photo of her, but because she had on this red top, it really, and I had a hard time using this floral paper for the boys. I wanted to use it somehow for her, so I used the floral paper along with the 6x6 piece of paper from that Authentique line with the yellow, and then just used lots of ephemera and lots of bling. Used that felted border strip across there. And then it's just Mother 2014. And I think I have scrapbooked this photo before. And that's okay, because it can go into either one of my son's albums, or it can go into my sister's layouts that I have set aside for her. Either way, it'll end up in one of our scrapbooks, because this is a really good photo of my mom. So that's it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 layouts that I made with this kit. So I'm pretty pleased with what I got done, and I look forward to getting another of my older kits used. Anyway, thanks for showing up today, and thanks for watching my video, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye, everyone.